Today, we're going to explore another hidden gem of the Smoky Mountain National Park, Roaring Forks Motor Natural Trail. And when I say hidden, I quite literally mean it. Welcome to Bear Facts, where we explore the Smoky Mountains one bear fact at a time. Roaring Forks is one of the 3 large scenic drives people can access to experience the Smoky Mountains. In the past videos, which I will leave a link in the description for, we talked about the other 2, Route 73 and Newfound Gap Road 441. And though there are other roads in the park you can access, these 3 are the big ones. And each of the 3 roads offer you something different and unique. Where Route 73 takes you along rivers and through rich forests, and Newfound Gap gives you jaw-dropping vistas and aerial views of the mountains, Roaring Forks is kind of the odd man out. It has similarities to 73, as you will follow the waterway for quite a large percentage of time, and you will gain higher elevations like you would on Newfound Gap. But it's really a blend of the 2 with a little Cades Cove mixed in. If you're not familiar with Cades Cove, I'll leave a link in the description for a video so you can learn more about it. But to sum up Cades Cove, it's a part of the park where you can see historical buildings, natural valleys and vistas, as well as a chance to see amazing wildlife. Roaring Forks is a little like Cades Cove. Like Cades Cove, the fork will give you the chance to walk through old cabins, witness cascading waterfalls, and also see some of the best mountain views in the park. The actual Roaring Forks Trail is only about 5.5 miles, but you will end up driving closer to 11 miles round trip between getting off of 321 and back onto 321 at the end of the trip. Roaring Forks is located just outside the outer part of Gatlinburg off of 321 going south, but in order to get to Roaring Forks, you have to find it first. And though there are signs that say Roaring Forks, they don't always lead you on the correct path. If you put it in Google, you might get sent on a wild goose chase. What we did to find the entrance of Roaring Forks is to search for Rainbow Falls on the Google Map search. That worked for us, and it led us right to the entrance. The actual Roaring Forks Trail is a one-way road that does a horseshoe loop, kind of. I'm reluctant to say loop as the road doesn't actually end where it starts, though you do end up making basically a loop to get back to the main roads. The trail is named after the body of water that follows a portion of the trail, the Roaring Forks. And most of the time, the name won't make much sense either. But if you ever visit the Smoky Mountains after a severe or extended rainstorm, you'll probably learn quickly how fast and loud the water gets. The road itself is a narrow one-way loop that twists and turns its way through dense forests. Once you hit the one-lane road, you're actually in the Smoky Mountain National Park. Though leading up to the one-way road and towards the end, you'll have normal 2-lane roads. There are campsites and other lodging as you pass before getting on the trail. It's the perfect spot for nature lovers or history buffs who want to take a step back in time. The drive typically takes about an hour if you want to stop to explore, but keep in mind during late fall through early spring, the road is closed to vehicles, so plan your trip accordingly. And during peak travel times, expect the trip to take much longer, as some guests are nervous about the road and tend to go slow, very slow. Like I said, Cades Cove. As you drive in, you'll notice the elevation starts to climb fairly quickly. For those of you who aren't fans of narrow roads or steep drops, this part might make you a bit nervous. But don't worry, the views are worth it. Just take it slow and enjoy the road. There aren't a ton of pull-offs, so be prepared to go with the flow of traffic unless you're stopping at a designated spot. One of the first major points of interest is the Ogle Cabin, just one of the few cabins scattered throughout the trail. Many of these were built by early settlers long before this land became a national park. The Noah Budd Ogle Cabin is one of the earliest structures you'll encounter. It was built in the late 19th century by Noah Budd Ogle. The structure is called a sandalbag cabin, which is a 2 single pen cabin joined by a common chimney. This style was actually pretty uncommon in the Smokies. Ogle Cabin has also a barn that guests can walk around. It's fun to get out, stretch your legs, and explore a real piece of history, and think about how the early settlers who farmed this rugged lands lived. The Rainbow Falls trailhead is just a bit down from the road from the Ogle Cabin. The trail is probably one of the top-rated trails in the area for waterfalls, but because of the popularity, parking can get very challenging. The park has made serious strides towards mitigating people's double parking and blocking the road. Yeah, they actually were blocking it by putting boulders and clearly labeling signs along the road. This has been a major issue in the past, getting to the point that you couldn't get a car through the road, blocked by traffic due to people parking badly. I would strongly suggest, if you're visiting during the fall, start looking for a spot before you pass the trailhead, or honestly, just walk the trail. You might end up getting there quicker. The falls are really nice, and though it's not an easy hike, over 16-foot elevation gain and 5.5 miles, it's an amazing trip, and it's little great falls at the end. Bullhead and Baskin Creek Fall trails are just past Rainbow Fall trailhead. The Bullhead is a 7-mile hike that is considered moderate, and you can get to Baskin Falls from here as well. But there is a shorter trailhead to Baskin's further up the Roaring Forks Trail. You might not be competing for parking if you use the other trailhead as well. That and the other path is shorter and a lower elevation gain overall. However, if you like the challenge and can get a parking spot, why not take the longer route? There is a cemetery on the way. You might enjoy the views more. Grotto Falls will be the next major trail and waterfall you'll encounter on Roaring Forks. Many people might not realize it, but the Roaring Forks water splits from the main road and goes up and down from Grotto Falls. If you end up taking that hike, enjoy the crisp, clean waters of Roaring Forks. Grotto Falls are unique because you can actually walk behind the falls. It's a moderate hike, about 3 miles round trip, and totally worth the effort if you love chasing waterfalls. Just past the falls is the Ephraim's Bales Cabin. The Bales Cabin was constructed with 2 separate cabins combined with a dog trough passage between them, though it's just one roof that covers the entire structure. Continuing on, the trail also leads you to the Alfred Reagan Tub Mill and Cabin. The Reagan family settled here in 1840s. Reagan was one of those full-time jack-of-all-trades. He was a part-time preacher, had a blacksmith shop, operated a general store, and grist mill. Though the construction of his cabin was also a saddlebag, the structure is more plank boards and simple construction. It's also painted. From one source, I learned that the park had tried to maintain the color of the original, and I think the company was Montgomery Ward's catalog. If you're too young to remember that store, let's just compare it to Amazon without steroids and make it horse-drawn delivery. It could have been Sears. If anyone knows, let me know in the comments. The last cabin that you will encounter on Roaring Forks isn't actually an original. The Alex Cole cabin was moved from the Sugarland community and put in the spot. Originally, there was another Bales family cabin here, but the cabin wasn't salvageable. However, the barn was, hence the reason you'll see 2 names for the property. There is only one waterfall that you can see from the road. It's called the Place of 1,000 Drips. At least I think that's what it is. There isn't a sign or anything, but it's the only falls you can see from the road. So that's my best guess. Who named that place anyway? Sounds weird. As you near the end of the trail and leave the Smoky Mountains, you'll come across Ellie's Mill. Built by Andrew Ellie in 1925, the mill served as a combination grist mill and general store. Ellie's Mill is one of the few places still owned and operated by the original families. The mill itself is no longer functioning, but the owners are holding to as many traditions as they can. They have lots of unique products, including locally harvested honey, so locally harvested that you can see the beehives from the backyard. It's a great spot to stop for a quick bite or browse through handmade crafts. They even sell jams and handmade soaps. It's a charming way to end the journey. They also allow guests to use their bathrooms, which is good since there are very few along the road. Rainbow Falls is the only one that they even have on the map. Though there are plenty of trees, just watch for snakes. Now, I've mentioned that Roaring Forks isn't for everyone. The road itself is quite narrow, and there are some sharp curves and steep climbs, which can make some drivers uneasy. If you're not used to mountain roads, just take it slow and keep an eye out for wildlife. It's also important to note that this road has limited parking options, so you'll need to plan accordingly. If you're planning to stop for more than 15 minutes at any of the trailheads or cabins, you will need a Smoky Mountain parking tag. So please make sure you've had that squared away before you start your trip. So what's the verdict? Is Roaring Forks a must-see for everyone or anyone visiting the Smoky Mountains? Well, that's up for you to decide. The road offers a few stunning views, and the old cabins give you a glimpse of what life was before the settlers. During the fall months, the colors are spectacular, and there are some top-notch trails and waterfalls along the way. Just be prepared for some tight driving and limited parking. If you're looking for a more relaxing experience, I'd recommend visiting when the road is less crowded, either early in the mornings or later in the day. But whether you're here for hiking, the history, or the scenic drive, Roaring Forks has something for everyone. At the time of this film production and release, we are a nonprofit channel which allows us to share our information about the Smoky Mountain National Park. I hope this video helps you learn more about the Smoky Mountains or helps you plan your visit. You're getting an honest review from our personal experiences, but facts and things change, so please keep us in the loop if you learn anything new and want to share your experiences in the comments. Thanks again for visiting us at Bare Facts of the Smoky Mountains. Please click that like button and subscribe to our channel.